Welcome back to Kinshasa today, everyone. This is our deep dive, episode 11, I believe.
That's right. And today we're tackling something quite heavy.
Yeah, really heavy. We wanted to take a closer look for you, our listeners, at that awful boat fire, the one on the Congo River up in Equateur province.
It's been all over the news, and we've been going through the reports, mainly from Media Congo and Radio Copy. Some of that draws on AFP too.
So the idea is to really understand what happened based on those initial accounts. What do these reports actually tell us?
Exactly. Go beyond just the headline figure, See what it says about, river travel more broadly.
Okay, so let's get straight into it. What actually happened? When and where?
Right. So according to the sources, this was on Tuesday. The incident happened right there on the Congo River, basically in front of Mbandaka.
Mbandaka, the capital of Equateur, and the vessel involved.
It was a wooden boat, motorized. You know the type. Very common on our rivers.
Very common, yeah. And the cause of the fire, this part is just difficult.
It really is. The reports point to a woman cooking on board, using a brazier, like a small stove.
Okay.
And tragically, it seems she was doing this very close to where fuel was stored on the boat.
Oh no, so an open flame near fuel?
Exactly. That proximity apparently led to an explosion, a fuel explosion.
And then the fire erupted immediately after that.
That's what the reports indicate. An explosion, and then bang, a major fire on the boat.
Just horrific to imagine how fast that must have spread, especially on a wooden boat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the consequences, they're staggering. The confirmed death toll is at least 143 people.
143, that's huge. How did that number come about?
Well, the initial reports mentioned 131 bodies recovered by Wednesday.
Okay, 131 initially.
But then Josephine Pacifique Lokumu, she's a national deputy who was there, reported 12 more bodies found later on Thursday and Friday.
So the search continued, and sadly, they found more victims.
And there was also a slightly higher figure mentioned. Joseph Lacondo, from a local group, gave a provisional count of 145.
145. Why the difference? Do we know?
It's often chaotic in these situations, isn't it? But Lacondo specified something quite grim. Some victims died from burns, others drowned trying to escape.
God, burns and drowning. Both terrible ways to go.
And it might not even be the final number. Both Media Congo and Radio Copy stressed that dozens of people are still missing.
Still missing, so families are just waiting, hoping for news.
Exactly. That awful uncertainty. We do know some people survived, though.
Right. The reports mention survivors being taken to hospital.
Yes, though not many details on their numbers or conditions in these early reports.
And the boat itself. How many people were actually on it?
That's another really concerning part. The reports just say hundreds of passengers were estimated to be on board.
Hundreds. On a single wooden boat. That highlights the scale, doesn't it?
It really does. And it leads directly to that other chronic issue.
The passenger list. Or rather, the lack of one.
Precisely. Both sources point this out. No clear record of who was actually traveling.
Which we hear about almost every time something like this happens, unfortunately.
It makes identifying victims, accounting for the missing, even search and rescue, incredibly difficult. It just compounds the tragedy.
Yeah, it really does. And, looking at these reports, something else stands out.
What's that?
They mention that these kinds of accidents, these naufrages, they aren't. Well, they're not exactly rare on DRC's rivers and lakes.
Sadly, no. That context is important. These incidents happen, and the casualty figures are often terribly high.
It's a really sobering thought, isn't it? River travel is so essential for so many people here, for transport, for trade.
Absolutely vital. But this tragedy really throws the risks into sharp relief. The risks people face, maybe daily.
And the reports mentioning the high death tolls and the lack of lists, it paints a picture, doesn't it?
It does. It implicitly raises questions about safety measures, about regulations, or perhaps the lack of enforcement.
For you listening, maybe in Kinshasa or elsewhere, this isn't just a news story from far away. It touches on the reality for many fellow Congolese.
The impact on those communities in Equateur must be immense, losing so many people at once.
It's hard to fathom. So just to summarize what we've gathered from Media Congo and Radio Copy for you.
Okay.
We have a devastating fire on a wooden boat near Mbandaka, likely started by cooking near fuel.
Resulting in at least 143 confirmed deaths, tragically from burns or drowning.
With dozens still missing, hampered by the fact there was no passenger list.
And this event, while horrific, highlights the ongoing dangers and challenges of river transport safety in the DRC.
Right. Which brings us to a final thought, perhaps for you, our listener, to reflect on.
Yeah, based on these reports, what does this tragedy really tell us about the everyday risks people take using river transport here?
And what bigger questions does it force us to ask? About prevention, about response, about ensuring this doesn't keep happening?
Definitely something to think about. We rely on these waterways, but yeah.
Indeed. Lots to consider. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive on Kinshasa today. We'll be back soon with more local updates.